Platform value now, and we're going to define the platform. Hi, I'm Victor Verplay, and I've been spending my life doing startups. We're located in Silicon Valley in the heart of all this chaos, and today we're going to talk about platforms. Well, I guess you've already guessed by now that there's huge disruption ahead. In fact, in my opinion, it's going to be a bigger change than the Industrial Revolution. So this big shift that's about to happen, we're going to move from traditional business models to platforms. So things like television and medicine and transportation are changing into networks. Uber is not an accident or a peculiar one-of-a-kind. It's a kind of a glimpse of the future. In fact, disruption is going to be the new normal. You may remember that when Google added maps, then the navigation companies, the standalone GPS companies, stock fell by as much as 85%. That kind of disruption. Other kinds of disruption, like we saw in the camera business with Kodak, the giant dominated film company, he actually invented the digital camera, but never was able to see the power. And today, Kodak is bankrupt. So what is the shift to platforms? What pipes versus platform? A pipe is the traditional business, platforms are the new one. For example, Apple did in both BlackBerry and Nokia because Apple decided to make it a platform. They weren't going to be the only creators of tools and information for their smartphone. BlackBerry, on the other hand, became a very popular, here at least in the US, email service and couldn't make the transition quick enough to a platform model. Same thing happened with Nokia. It's interesting too because in Oulu, somewhere around 2001, a group of engineers left Nokia and invented a phone that looked very much like Apple's smartphone iPhone. I saw that phone and actually saw it demonstrated. And it had all the sliding features, all that neat gee whiz stuff. But Nokia never saw the value of that product. At least they never acquired the company. Airbnb is an example of a couple of guys in a hotel room here in San Francisco that had a spare room during a heavily attended convention and decided to rent out an air mattress. Airbnb grew faster than Marriott ever had a chance to. Uber is another case of a platform company that has almost done in the taxi industry here in the US. So pipes have always been around. And the idea here is that a product is created and it's pushed along the process. It's this pipe to the customer that consumes it. And as it moves down the pipe, it adds value. Radio and television, for example, are pipes delivering content. And so too is manufacturing. Education is also a pipe, with teachers delivering their knowledge to their pupils. This model has been going on since the time of Aristotle and Plato and the Greeks and hasn't changed much. And knowledge experts standing in front of a room and regurgitating that knowledge to the room. Now, acknowledge that the personality of the trainer has a lot to do with the reception of the student, but the transfer of that knowledge is going to change dramatically. So a platform is really something that was enabled by the internet. Platforms, unlike pipes, allow users to consume and create value. If you look at something like YouTube, the people who create the videos are not the people that own YouTube. The people that consume those things obviously have an interest in the information, but it's only a facility that YouTube provides to allow the producers to connect to the users. And here's an interesting thing. At the technology layer, external developers can develop APIs that are of small interest, large interest, but in which people like Apple, for example, had no part in the creation other than to accept the software from an independent, non-paid contractor, and the marketplace out there, the users decide how popular that application interface might be, not Apple. And guess what? There are tens of thousands of well-educated people all over the world trying to find an app that will be popular so they can either make some money from it or they can become famous. So at the business layer, users who are producers produce the content and users consume the content. So platforms are dominant in the online world, and in the offline world, pipes are dominant. Someone like SSAP, the steelmaker in Finland, is an offline dominant steel fabrication creation producer. On the other hand, dominant online companies like Facebook have no manufacturing capability. They just bring together users and consumers. Encyclopedia Britannica, which is a pipe, and Wikipedia, which is not, it's a platform model, are a good illustration of what happens to an industry when it is taken over by a platform. Britannica, after 144 years of producing the encyclopedia, no longer prints it. Wikipedia, which is only less than 10 years old, dominates this world of historical information. So our educational system is run on the pipe model. Udacity are platform models, and I think are truly the way of the future. Here in Silicon Valley just a few months ago, a graduate of Harvard could not get a job, didn't have the right skill set or the right training, decided to take one of Udacity's nano degree programs in iOS 6, which takes about 12 months, costs $400 a month, but here's the offer. If you finish the course, you get half the money back. Now, I know in Finland where education is free, that isn't a big deal, but here in the US where it's really a big deal, not only did they get half their money back, did she get half her money back, but she was guaranteed a job, and she's now working at Google at $80,000 a year startup. Well, why should Finnish companies care, and what are the opportunities? In the next video, I'll talk about network effects and how Finnish companies can compete against Silicon Valley. So looking forward to our next visit. This is Victor Verplay for our team of the Horizon Scanners.